This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, I think we have established this year over year. Yeah, it does not matter who the host is. It has always mattered who the listeners are. Anyways, today is Friday, May the 22nd of 2026, and we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
With streams so crisp that you can feel the sarcasm in your ear holes. Radio Big.
Yep, there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the multiverse of ours. No doubt about that. Okay, so with that being said, how are you? Are you ready for this Freeform Friday? What do I mean when I say that? Well, everything we did not get to earlier in the week is kind of the offload of things that we'll be doing today. So when we get to hang out and do our stuff, instead of it just being, hey, this is what's going on, we will be moving through the multiverse and saying, hey, let's go ahead and move forward and give you everything that I didn't get to earlier in the week. That's just kind of how it goes. So we'll be doing the rolling and bowling and all that kind of fun stuff. So let's just kind of talk about it. Our show consists of safety in the news and safety. That's just kind of what we do. We kind of talk a little bit about everything that is going on. We do bring in some professional broadcasters for them to talk exactly about what the hell's going on inside of the world of the multiverse. So that's what's going on. Here's the gig. We are on a radio app. We're on a web address. We are definitely on an app that's being worked on apparently to be updated properly. And that's kind of what we do. So if you go to safetyfm.com, if you go to radiobig.fm, we are streaming on both of those right now as we speak. We're also doing some level of a video depending on where you're hanging out. You might be able to see that on different social media platforms. But you can also see it on safetyfm.com under visual radio. And then, of course, we have the streamers that we do there. We're across so many different things. It's not even funny in so many different apps. So that's kind of what happens. And that's it. That is the whole kit and caboodle. So because it is Friday, what we normally will do on Fridays is what we call the week in review. So if you're ready for it, I'm ready for it. Let's do that right now.
In California, firefighters are battling a series of wildfires throughout the state. Northwest of Los Angeles, the Sandy Fire has already burned over 2,000 acres. The fires have forced tens of thousands of residents to evacuate.
Veteran quarterback Aaron Rodgers announces he's going to be retiring.
Better than your last year. This is it. Yeah.
President Trump's former daughter-in-law, Vanessa, sharing she was just diagnosed with breast cancer. Vanessa Trump, who is dating Tiger Woods, says the diagnosis came as a shock.
NASCAR now sharing that legend Kyle Busch has died. And just a couple minutes ago, we told you that he was going to miss this upcoming race because he was in the hospital. He apparently had been hospitalized with a severe illness. They're calling this a sudden, staggering blow to the motorsports community. Kyle Busch was just 41 years old.
Now to the 45 million Americans expected to travel this Memorial Day weekend. And already there are problems. Major disruptions at New York's LaGuardia Airport after a sinkhole forced the closure of one of the airport's 2 runways. And the weather isn't helping. Heavy rain causing flash flooding, showing travel throughout the eastern half of the country, causing more problems there.
Senate Republicans in open revolt over President Trump's new taxpayer fund to reward allies who claim they were persecuted by the Biden Justice Department. A group that could include the rioters who stormed the Capitol and attacked police officers on January 6th.
I'll say to you what I've said to every audience for the last 11 years, and I have meant it every time. Have a good show. Thanks for being here. And let's do it, y'all.
The winner of Survivor 50.
It was Aubrey Bracco who was crowned the winner and sole survivor after playing 4 seasons in the game.
Hey guys, listen to this. The organizers of the upcoming UFC fight at the White House on Trump's birthday are worried that the event might get swarmed by gnats. And God was like, how many more signs do I need to send here?
Okay, so there you go. That is the week in review as we are hanging out and doing all of our fun stuff. No doubt about that. So there you go. Hopefully I get you caught up a little bit about what the hell's going on. With that being said, let's go ahead and bring in the pro broadcasters. Oh, and before I forget, if you want to interact with the show, callinradio.com. Just go there. Just go there. That will take care of everything for you. Callinradio.com. That'll get everything moving and grooving. So there you go. There you go. Okay, so with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the news because I do have people waiting in the wing that want to talk about exactly what is going on. So let's go ahead and do some of that. What do you think?
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in Hong Kong, I'm Laura Westbrook. Washington wants to sell as much energy as New Delhi would buy, says U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio ahead of his visit to India. Rubio is traveling to India this weekend as New Delhi reels from the energy shock due to the effective closure of the Strait of Hormuz. Ishan Garg reports from New Delhi.
U.S. Secretary of State's comments highlight that energy would be high on the agenda when he meets his Indian counterpart, Dr. S. Jaishankar, in New Delhi. India has committed to buying $500 billion worth of items from the U.S. over the next 5 years, with energy and petrochemical products featuring as key items. Analysts say if New Delhi ramps up energy purchases from the U.S., it would pacify President Donald Trump's concerns about the trade deficit that U.S. runs with India. India has been importing record amounts of Russian oil since the war in Ukraine began, but officials say they have been diversifying procurement based on market conditions. Ishan Garg, New Delhi.
The number of people entering the UK has dropped amid a continuing push to curb immigration. UK net migration figures, which shows the number of people entering and leaving the country, dropped to 171,000 in 2025. The figure is around half the previous year's total and the lowest it has been since 2012, excluding the COVID pandemic years. Laura Bentley reports from London.
The Office for National Statistics said the decrease was driven by fewer people arriving from outside the EU, particularly for work. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer said that despite the drop, there is still more to do. But the Home Secretary argued the figures show Labour government is restoring order and control to our borders. Separate statistics released by the Home Office revealed the number of asylum seekers staying in hotels in the UK has fallen by 35% year on year to just under 21,000. Lara Bentley, London.
2 police officers who helped defend the US Capitol on January 6, 2021, have sued to block anyone from receiving payouts from a new $1.8 billion settlement fund for people who claim to be victims of politically motivated prosecutions. Kate Fisher reports from Washington.
In their lawsuit, the police officers argue the Trump administration's new anti-weaponization fund is illegal and dangerous. The Justice Department has indicated that the fund will be used to compensate people who suffered weaponization and lawfare under previous presidential administrations. Some Trump supporters who were convicted of violent crimes against police officers on January the 6th are anticipating major payouts. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche and Vice President J.D. Vance have not ruled that out. Kate Fisher, Washington.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, remembering Congressman Barney Frank of Massachusetts, an iconic centrist Democrat in the United States. He died on Tuesday, aged 86, after entering hospice care for congestive heart failure. He was one of the most pugnacious, combative, but also amusing lawmakers on Capitol Hill during his 16 congressional terms. He led a major overhaul of America's financial industry after the financial crisis of 2008. He was also the first gay member of Congress ever voluntarily to reveal his sexuality.
It was the summer of '86. A former member named Bob Bauman, who was one of those who had been implicated in a set of events which made clear that he was gay. He first denied it, and he's now since acknowledged it. Bauman wrote a book in which he mentioned that I was gay, which was really kind of a violation of the general protocols. He'd been out of Congress for a few years by then. And he didn't say it explicitly, but it was pretty clear. And I thought this might break, so I did go to Tip O'Neill and tell him that. And his response at first was, "Hey, don't worry about it, pal. They spread those rumors about a lot of people." And I said, "Well, in this case, it's true." So he did say, "Oh, I'm really sad. I thought you might be the first Jewish speaker."
He spoke there to the Washington Post. He never rose to the speakership, but died a much-beloved figure among Democrats. He was preparing to release a new book accusing left-wingers in the party of alienating centrist voters. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
The main news again. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio voices hope of progress on ending the war with Iran, even though some sticking points remain. There are fears the Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo is spreading as an angry crowd sets a section of a hospital on fire. President Donald Trump says the U.S. will be sending an additional 5,000 troops to Poland days after the Pentagon cancelled a planned deployment of 4,000 troops to the country. And that's the latest feature story news. Laura Westbrook reporting.
Attention, ladies and gentlemen.
Are you ready for a 3-day weekend?
I'm so ready.
It's coming.
You just made my day.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp-speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello. You've seen the loop. You've felt the shift. The script doesn't fit anymore, and neither do you. Safety transmission. The collapse of the construct is the third and final signal in the trilogy from J. Allen, Ph.D. And this time, it's not about waking up. It's about what you do once you're awake. The system didn't break. It just stopped pretending to hold you. And now it's blinking, rebranding presence, packaging resistance, and calling it progress. This book isn't a guide. It's a transmission. It doesn't teach the system how to evolve. It shows you how to stop performing for it. You'll see what happens when awareness becomes responsibility, when audits don't listen, and when leadership becomes a loop. But if you've made it this far, you're not here to be managed. You're here to carry signal, safety transmission, the collapse of the construct. Now available in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by J. Allen, PhD. Because if it couldn't hold your signal, it was never real to begin with.
So do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com/one. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, Rated R Safety Show coming across the multiverse of things that we get to do. No doubt about that as we are talking. Okay, so let's start talking right away about some things that are going inside of the world. So take a listen to this one. The president says that he is pumping the brakes on the proposed executive order that would have expanded the federal oversight of artificial intelligence. Speaking at the White House, Donald Trump said that he decided to postpone the measure because he is worried that it could slow America's lead on the global AI race, especially against China. Trump said that the proposed rules could have been blocked, and adding that he didn't want regulations getting in the way of innovation, jobs, or the country's technology advantage. He also claims that the U.S. is currently leading the world in AI development and said that the technology is already creating tremendous economic growth and employment opportunities. The executive orders reportedly would have required some AI developers to submit advanced new AI models to the government for review up to 90 days before the public release. The plan was designed to increase security oversight as concerns grow increasingly over powerful AI systems that could pose natural security risk. According to the reports, the proposal marked a major shift from the administration earlier hands-off the approach towards AI regulation. Federal agencies were expected to help evaluate safety and risk of next-generation systems before the rollout. So there you go. What do you think? No, like, seriously, what do you think? It's interesting. I mean, like, seriously, it is so interesting on how the conversation with AI continues to change regardless of what's going on. So it becomes one of those very strange items that it's like, how do you handle this? Do you look at it from the standpoint where things should change in regards to that, or should there be more oversight or a level of oversight to it when it's all said and done? I mean, there is a level of good stuff. There's a level of complaint. There's a level of interesting times when it comes to it. So here's the fun part. I mean, the terminology, you're hearing it more and more these days. But what do you think? Is it playing a factor to what you do day in and day out? Or do you just don't care that it exists at all? That's the other question to think about. If it's not important to you, well, maybe you should kind of look back for a moment and see if it does play a factor in some of the things that are doing. Because I think that the term AI, I think that if you're not using a large language model, some people think that it doesn't apply to me, but that's not really the case. So maybe look around a little bit more in regards of what's going on, because I think things are changing a little bit more than what people think.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of how it goes. That's how it goes around the systema of everything that is happening inside of the world here. That is for sure. Okay, so let's continue talking about some other things that are going on. Take a listen to this. Priest from a Russian Orthodox church, yes, Russian Orthodox church in the city of Perm, recently took part of a religious procession aimed at protecting the city from the Ukrainian drone attacks. After several reported the drone strikes in the area, local clergy carried a revered icon known from the Mother of God perm throughout the city, stopping at locations including the cemetery chapel, a hydraulic power station, and a cross marking of one of the city's entrances. At each stop, the priest prayed for the city's protection and safety. Church officials said that the procession follows the ancient tradition, carrying the holy relic during times of war, epidemics, or national crisis in hopes of receiving divine protection. The diocese noted that they held similar events during COVID-19 pandemic. The church described the icon as especially meaningful to the region and said that it believed that throughout the history that have turned to religious processions during the invasions and disasters. So yes, 2026 is one side is deploying advanced drone technology and the other is responding with the priest, prayers, and citywide holy lap. So what do you think? Does that make sense to you? Or do you look at it and go, I mean, I don't know. It's just one of those things that I look around and go, some of it makes sense, some of it doesn't make sense. I don't understand what is going to be the best case scenario as you are moving forward. No doubt about that. Okay, so let's continue talking about some other stuff that is going on inside of the world here. So I guess some really shocking news happening yesterday. If you did not hear about this, let's discuss this. The NASCAR world is in shock after news broke that Kyle Busch had died at the age of 41 following a sudden severe illness. Busch had reportedly been hospitalized early yesterday and was forced to withdraw from this weekend's Coca-Cola 600 before the NASCAR later confirmed his passing in a joint statement with the family and Richard Childress Racing. NASCAR had called Busch a once-in-a-generation talent and praised his fierce competitiveness, massive skill, and deep connection with fans, especially his loyal Rowdy Nation. Busch spent more than 2 decades racing at the sport's highest level and became one of the most successful drivers in NASCAR history, winning the Cup Series championships in 2015 and 2019. Busch's career's numbers are staggering. He racked up 63 Cup Series victories and an all-time record of 234 wins across NASCAR's 3 National Series. His last Cup win was in 2023, his first season driving for Richard Childress Racing after leaving Joe Gibbs Racing. Earlier in the day, reports said that Busch had been battling an undisclosed illness and was undergoing treatment after experiencing symptoms during a recent race, including at the Watkins Glen, where he reportedly asked for medical attention. Over the radio, Austin Hill had been tapped to replace him in the number 8 Chevrolet at the Coca-Cola 600. So there you go. What do you think? I mean, it's interesting because, listen, let's just not lie here. It is definitely a high-profile person that passed away. So it kind of throws everything off because you don't, number one, ever expect really somebody to pass. That's the first thing. And then once they do, and then you kind of hear the age, 41 is not that old. And I'm not saying that because I'm older than 41, but I'm saying that just in general, that in regards of what is going on, you consider that relatively young. So what do you think here? I mean, I think that it's going to definitely rock the sports world when it comes to NASCAR. And don't get me wrong, I do not watch all kinds of sports, so it becomes very interesting when I have the opportunity to talk about it. But what do you think here? It's such a weird thing because you just don't expect these things to be happening, just period. So it gets weird, and it gets weird quick. Okay, so let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world here. So you are aware that Monday, this Monday that is coming up is Memorial Day, right? I mean, do you know this? I'm just asking. So sometimes some of these holidays get confused with some other stuff. Veterans Day and so on. So let me kind of explain this. Memorial Day is Monday. And how do we observe Memorial Day? By visiting cemeteries and placing flags or flowers on the graves of fallen heroes. By visiting memorials and by flying the U.S. flag at half staff until noon, and by flying the POW or MIA, so prisoners of war flag as well. So those are the things that you're supposed to be doing. I mean, I know that other people or some people will add some other things inside of it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't do any of that. I'm just saying that this is the way that it's normally handled in that particular regard. So just some stuff to talk about. So there you go. Okay, so let's talk about some other things that are going on inside of the world. Some people believe that homes hold onto emotional energy long after moments have passed. Have you ever walked into a room after an argument and instantly felt the tension in the air, or stepped into a space that made you feel peaceful, anxious, exhausted, emotional, or inspired for no clear reason? Many spiritual traditions teach that the surrounding absorbs the energy that we bring to them. Stress, laughter, grief, love, conflict, celebration, fear, healing, and even silence can leave lasting imprint. That's why many people choose to spiritually reset and cleanse their homes after arguments, illness, breakups, guests leaving, difficult emotional periods, big life transitions. Open the windows, let the fresh air move through the homes. Light candles, clean the intentions, rearrange spaces that feel stagnant. Play music that shifts the mood, and burn herbs. What kind of herbs are we talking about? Incense that fits the beliefs and practices. Sometimes a home just needs an energetic reset, just as people are leaving it. What do you think here? I mean, I'm just telling you because these are the news stories that we talk about, but I think it's different. It's definitely a different approach. What do you think? So I got this one that came in, and this is kind of the pile of stuff that we call our miscellaneous. So,
tread lightly.
A new study suggests that the age that you lost your virginity could connect you to how well you'll age later in life. Researchers at Shandong University found that people with genetic markers linked to earlier sexual activity were more likely to experience poor aging outcomes, including a higher level of fertility levels and lower overall well-being as they got older. Lead researchers Mr. Wang said that the findings don't mean that one's decision early in life automatically changes things. It determines it's your future, but they do suggest that early experiences may be tied to broader patterns involving mental health, chronic illness, and lifestyles risk over time. The researchers analyzed a large genetic database and looked at the factors connecting the timing, sexual debut, and they also are compared to those markers with long-term health outcomes. 4 major issues appear to most connected worse among those that were linked to earlier sexual activity: frailty, feeling of misery, and poor mental health, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder. Researchers believe that those factors may reflect larger behavioral patterns, including impulsivity, smoking-related illness, emotional stress, or other long-term health challenges that build up over time. In other words, it may not be the sex itself. It may be everything surrounding it. The study also pointed out that Americans are generally waiting longer to have sex for the first time. The average age remains around 17, but younger generations, especially Gen Z, are increasingly delaying sex and avoiding it altogether. Experts say that factors like social media, screen time, and changing dating culture, mental health struggles, and pandemic all contributed to what we are calling sex recession. Researchers say that the bigger takeaway is the importance of early health education, emotional support, and intervention during the teenage years to help improve long-term outcomes later in life. Basically, your teenage years may echo a louder as into your older age than you first realize. So what do you think here? It's definitely an interesting one. I mean, let's not lie here as we are talking. So what do you think? It changes a little bit of things when you start thinking of it from that aspect, or do you just think that some of this stuff is just science, as in we would call pseudo?
It's the
show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's continue talking. For some reason, I have so many things related to how people do not know how to celebrate Memorial Day. I didn't realize that was such a big thing. I mean, I kind of knew that it was a thing, but I didn't realize that it was that kind of thing, that people had no clue what to do. So it makes it interesting as we are talking. Okay, so with that being said, let's continue talking about some other stuff that is going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that's just kind of what we do. So take a listen to this. Have you been to the restaurant by the name of Hooters? Are you familiar with that one? No, seriously, are you familiar with Hooters? The restaurant. The restaurant. Let's make sure that we get it straight here. Are you familiar with Hooters, the restaurant? Because Hooters is reportedly dialing things back a bit as the restaurant chain tries to become more family-friendly, according to CEO Neil Kiefer. The company's original owners recently regained control of the brand after Hooters of America filed Chapter 11 in bankruptcy in 2025. No, seriously, that's not a joke as I say that. So, yeah, Kiefer says that one big goal is moving forward is steering the chain away from what he described as an overly sexualized image that developed over the last decade or so. Kiefer especially pointed out the waitstaff's uniform, saying that the outfits had evolved into something that looked more like a thong than a sporty athletic style. The restaurant originally aimed for when it launched back in the 1980s. He said that the more revealing uniforms ended up driving away families and couples who may have otherwise visited the chain, adding that there was nothing wrong with a pair of shorts if it fitted properly, but insisting that the restaurant environment shouldn't cross into thong territory. The company, who wants to make the atmosphere more welcoming to everyone while still keeping it recognizable Hooters identity intact. So basically, Hooters is trying to go from spring break in Daytona to maybe grandma can come too, is what it sounds like. So what do you think here? I mean, I'm being serious. I don't ever understand on what is the thought process here. Like, is this a place that you frequent? Is it a place that you wouldn't go to? Is it a place that if you had the opportunity, you would never go to? I mean, I don't know. Some people get so weirded out by some of these things. So there you go. Anyways, it is 32 minutes past the top of the hour. During a normal day when it's not Freeform Friday, we would definitely be going into our main story. But guess what? It is not our normal day, and we're not going into our main story. Welcome to Freeform Friday.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Welcome to Story News in Hong Kong. I'm Laura Westbrook. Washington wants to sell as much energy as New Delhi would buy, says U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio ahead of his visit to India. Rubio is traveling to India this weekend as New Delhi reels from the energy shock due to the effective closure of the Strait of Hormuz. Ishan Garg reports from New Delhi.
U.S. Secretary of State's comments highlight that energy would be high on the agenda when he meets his Indian counterpart, Dr. S. Jaishankar, in New Delhi. India has committed to buying $500 billion worth of items from the U.S. over the next 5 years, with energy and petrochemical products featuring as key items. Analysts say if New Delhi ramps up energy purchases from the U.S., it would pacify President Donald Trump's concerns about the trade deficit that U.S. runs with India. India has been importing record amounts of Russian oil since the war in Ukraine began, but officials say they have been diversifying procurement based on market conditions. Ishan Garg, New Delhi.
The number of people entering the UK has dropped amid a continuing push to curb immigration. UK net migration figures, which shows the number of people entering and leaving the country, dropped to 171,000 in 2025. The figure is around half the previous year's total and the lowest it has been since 2012, excluding the COVID pandemic years. Laura Bentley reports from London.
The Office for National Statistics said the decrease was driven by fewer people arriving from outside the EU, particularly for work. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer said that despite the drop, there is still more to do. But the Home Secretary argued the figures show Labour government is restoring order and control to our borders. Separate statistics released by the Home Office revealed the number of asylum seekers staying in hotels in the UK has fallen by 35% year on year to just under 21,000. Lara Bentley, London.
Two police officers who helped defend the US Capitol on January 6, 2021, have sued to block anyone from receiving payouts from a new $1.8 billion settlement fund for people who claim to be victims of politically motivated prosecutions. Kate Fisher reports from Washington.
In their lawsuit, the police officers argue the Trump administration's new anti-weaponization fund is illegal and dangerous. The Justice Department has indicated that the fund will be used to compensate people who suffered weaponization and lawfare under previous presidential administrations. Some Trump supporters who were convicted of violent crimes against police officers on January the 6th are anticipating major payouts. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche and Vice President J.D. Vance have not ruled that out. Kate Fisher, Washington.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, remembering Congressman Barney Frank of Massachusetts, an iconic centrist Democrat in the United States. He died on Tuesday, aged 86, after entering hospice care for congestive heart failure. He was one of the most pugnacious, combative, but also amusing lawmakers on Capitol Hill during his 16 congressional terms. He led a major overhaul of America's financial industry after the financial crisis of 2008. He was also the first gay member of Congress ever voluntarily to reveal his sexuality.
It was the summer of '86. A former member named Bob Bauman, who was one of those who had been implicated in a set of events which made clear that he was gay. He first denied it, and he's now since acknowledged it. Bauman wrote a book in which he mentioned that I was gay, which was really kind of a violation of the general protocols. He'd been out of Congress for a few years by then. And he didn't say it explicitly, but it was pretty clear. And I thought this might break, so I did go to Tip O'Neill and tell him that. And his response at first was, "Hey, don't worry about it, pal. They spread those rumors about a lot of people." And I said, "Well, in this case, it's true." So he did say, "Oh, I'm really sad. I thought you might be the first Jewish speaker."
He spoke there to the Washington Post. He never rose to the speakership, but died a much-beloved figure among Democrats. He was preparing to release a new book accusing left-wingers in the party of alienating centrist voters. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
The main news again. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio voices hope of progress on ending the war with Iran, even though some sticking points remain. There are fears the Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo is spreading as an angry crowd sets a section of a hospital on fire. President Donald Trump says the U.S. will be sending an additional 5,000 troops to Poland days after the Pentagon cancelled a planned deployment of 4,000 troops to the country. And that's the latest feature story news. Laura Westbrook reporting.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free.
Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all three books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
In order to save the planet from cow farts, why doesn't someone just invent really large Gas X pills?
God, what's that awful stench? Radio.
Many ways I was lost through the grapevine. I was lost in my own mistake. Waiting to find my way, and I'm waiting to feel your pain, and I'm ready to find my way back. Was it really fun? Was it really?
Okay, I guess we're getting into the softer side of Safety FM. It is currently 43 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Friday. Now let's go ahead and start talking a little bit about some of the stuff that is going on inside of the multiverse, that's for sure. So this right here is Wilds. Song's called Real Life. Song's readily available on Apple Music, YouTube Music, Spotify, and Pandora. So there you go. We would like to thank Wilds for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. No doubt about that. So let's start talking about some other stuff that is going on inside of the world. And if anything, let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help, and we want you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com, and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, you'll see all kinds of information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com, to write love on her arms. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of this multiverse of ours as we are hanging, no doubt about that. So listen, I'm going to tell you, you go there, if there's so many things that can change things for you just by going to that website. I don't say that jokingly either. It's so important just to kind of be reading some of these stories. Even though you might say it's not something that will have an effect on me, it could be information that you're going to help with others. You never know when this can actually hit or have an impact with someone that you know or even in your own life. That's TWLOHA.com, to write love on her arms. If anything, let me tell you about some other stuff that's going on inside of the world of the multiverse. July the 13th, we have some people hanging out here in Orlando. Nick Weatherly, Todd Conklin, all hanging out, doing some stuff. We will be doing this thing called Reality Shifts, an observational symposium taking place here at a movie theater and here in good old Orlando. Nick Weatherly, Todd Conklin, and yours truly will all be there. Nick Weatherly will be talking about behavior-based safety. Todd Conklin will be talking about human and organizational performance. And I will be there having the discussion about Signal Trilogy. So would love to see you there. Would love to sit back, have the discussion, all that kind of fun stuff. So that is taking place here in Orlando. Would love to do some things for sure as we are hanging out. No doubt about that. So all you have to do is go to safetyfm.io for more information about the event. We'll be watching a documentary as well on that day. So you'll have Nick Weatherly there in person having the discussion. Todd Conklin in there having the discussion in person. I will be there in person having the discussion. But then we will go ahead and have the conversation related to the stuff that's going on inside of the documentary. So we'd love to see you there. If you want to come and hang out with us in Orlando, come there, be there. Would love to see you. No doubt about that. Anyways, with that being said, why don't we go ahead and do this right now? Why don't we bring some John Smalls into our life? Because, you know, that's kind of the thing that we do around here. So if you're good with this, I'm good with this. And by the way, I might have a little surprise for you. So you might want to be paying close attention. So here's some John Small coming your way.
Courtesy of JaceCaseMedical.com. Today's quote was submitted by Alex. Simon Sinek said, "Pure pragmatism can't imagine a bold future. Pure idealism can't get anything done. It's when the two cooperate that magic happens." I love this. I know people who are dreamers and they see everything in their perfect world mind, but I also know some glass half empty people who always think things are going to go wrong. I think I'm somewhere in the middle. I hope for the best, but I plan for the worst. I'm working on an event that was rained out last year. Guess what question I get every single call that I make about this event? My answer is the same each time. We're planning to do the event as long as we can safely do the event. And this is an event that cannot be done indoors. So this will be a thing where we do it as long as we can do it. And because of the weather, we might miss it every once in a while, but not all the time.
The Motivation Minute.
This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Hello, I'm Richard Exley with your 1-minute devotion. Life on our fallen planet is seldom easy, and it is often filled with circumstances that try the strongest faith. More often than not, it is these dark times that produce the most profound and enriching experiences. Your miracle may come as supernatural deliverance, or it may come as special grace, enabling you to live with meaning in the midst of great difficulties. Either way, you are more than a conqueror. 2 Corinthians 12:10 says, "For when I am weak, then I am strong." Lord Jesus, we place our life in your hands. Whether you deliver us or give us grace to endure to the end, we will trust you. Amen. If these devotions are a blessing and an encouragement to you, you can subscribe at oneminutedevotion.com.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Russian drones struck several neighborhoods across Kyiv on Wednesday, damaging apartment towers and forcing terrified families into underground subway emergency shelters citywide.
Ukrainian officials said emergency crews rescued residents after fires spread through residential blocks during another large overnight assault. Western allies discussed additional air defense support, while diplomats continued stalled ceasefire talks with Moscow. Chris Anderson reporting.
Investigators searched through burned debris Saturday after a powerful explosion ripped across a main lumber mill, injuring multiple workers inside.
Fire crews battled intense flames for hours, while emergency responders transported injured employees from the damaged industrial facility. Safety inspectors began examining equipment failures and chemical storage areas connected to the massive blast investigation. Kevin Sanders reporting.
Thousands of commuters across the New York region faced severe travel delays before dawn Monday after rail workers walked off their jobs.
Union leaders said contract negotiations collapsed over wages and staffing concerns affecting the nation's busiest commuter rail network. Transit officials urged passengers to work remotely while emergency bus routes operated under crowded conditions. Jessica Oakley reporting.
Global oil markets steadied Tuesday after renewed diplomatic talks appeared to reduce tensions between Iran, Israel, and several Western governments.
Energy traders reacted after American officials delayed planned military operations and signaled possible progress during indirect negotiations with Tehran. Shipping companies cautiously resumed routes near the Strait of Hormuz, while investors monitored fragile ceasefire discussions. Gary Beck reporting.
A Trump-backed challenger defeated longtime Congressman Thomas Massie in Kentucky's Republican primary Tuesday, reshaping another major battle inside the party.
The closely watched race highlighted continuing pressure on Republicans who publicly resisted several White House priorities during recent congressional disputes. Party strategists expect the result to influence competitive primaries elsewhere before November's midterm campaigning intensifies. Kyle Norris reporting.
Several Democratic-led states filed a federal lawsuit Wednesday challenging new limits on student loans for specialized graduate programs nationwide this week.
State attorneys general argued the restrictions could reduce access for students pursuing medical and healthcare careers across America. Education officials defended the policy changes, saying taxpayers should not absorb rapidly growing borrowing costs. Lawrence Keller reporting.
Health officials confirmed a new Ebola outbreak in eastern Congo on Wednesday after dozens of deaths alarmed nearby communities again.
African health agencies deployed medical teams and tracing specialists after suspected infections spread through isolated villages near Ituri province. Border nations increased screenings, while aid groups rushed protective supplies toward overcrowded regional treatment centers. Benjamin Wright reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
More hits to help you work. Because to get rich, you gotta work hard.
Yeah, dude, like I just made so much money that I could just sit around on my ass all day and play video games.
Wait, I forgot about Dogecoin.
Dogecoin rules!
Okay, so Dogecoin rules according to some. So there you go. Let's talk real quick about some movies that are being released today, because that's going to be important to some. So let's see. Corporate Retreat comes out today. Corporate executives on a team building retreat face a deadly struggle when their leader turns violently against them. That hits theaters today. No rating was given for that one. I'm going to imagine that it's rated R. Also, I Love Boosters. A group of shoplifters take aim at a cutthroat fashion maven by stealing her clothes and reselling them in a lower price than they call fashion forward philanthropy. That's rated R, hitting theaters today. Also, The Passenger. After a young couple witnesses a gruesome highway accident, they soon realize they did not leave the crash scene alone, as the demonic presence called The Passenger won't stop until it claims them both. That's rated R, hits the movie theaters today. Also, the Star Wars The Mandalorian and Grogu comes out today. Once a lone bounty hunter, Mandalorian has his apprentice Grogu embark an exciting new Star Wars adventure rated PG-13. That's hitting the theaters today. And then let's see, ladies first. A male chauvinist is transported into a matriarchal society, facing challenges to form a formidable female version of himself. Rated R, streaming on Netflix today. So there you go. There you go. Some things to take a look around if you're interested, of course. So there you go. Okay, so let's talk about some things that happened back on this date, because I think it's time to do that. So let's go ahead and talk about those. So if we're looking around, back in 1570, the first atlas with 70 maps is published. In 1849, Abraham Lincoln patents bowing device. In 1892, Dr. Washington Sheffield invents the toothpaste tube. Imagine what was happening before then. In 1933, World Trade Day, National Maritime Day is first celebrated. In 39, Hitler's and Mussolini signs, pack of steel. So there you go. Let's see. In 1956, Bob Hope Show last airs on NBC TV. In 1965, Ticket to Ride single goes number 1 by the Beatles. In 1990, Microsoft releases Windows 3.0. And then let me see. In 1995, Laverne and Shirley's 20th anniversary reunion is televised. So there you go. That's a lot of history of things that were going on back in those days, if you do not mind. Anyways, let's talk about some celebrity birthdays that are going on today. Richard Benjamin turns 88. Bernie Taupin turns 76. Morrissey turns 67 today. Ann Kursak turns 65. Naomi Campbell, 56. Anna Belcap turns 54. Allison Eastwood, 54 as well. Jennifer Goodwin turns 48. And Maggie Q, she turns 47 today, just in case you were looking for some of those. So there you go. There you go. Anyways, let's talk about some things that you ought to know. The Indy 500 airs on Fox this Sunday at 12:45 p.m. Also, NASCAR, the Coca-Cola 600 race will air at 6 p.m. this Sunday from Charlotte Motor Speedways. Catch that on Prime Video. Also, in some other news, the United States Southern Command released photos showing the arrival of the USS Nimitz in the Caribbean Sea as tension between the United States and Cuba continue to rise. Pressure from Trump's administration. In a social media post, Southern Command welcomed the carrier strike group to the region and highlighted the carrier global military track record, saying that the ship has helped ensure stability and defend democracy everywhere from Taiwan straight to the Persian Gulf. The development comes as the administration ramps up pressure on Cuba politically and strategically, adding another layer of military presence in the Caribbean. The USS Nimitz is one of the Navy's most recognizable aircraft, carries in service as floating city parked with fighter jets, helicopters, and thousands of sailors. Tonight's Mega Million jackpot is worth $296 million, and Powerball jackpot is worth $131. So a lot of stuff going on today if you're so interested in taking a look around inside of some of these things that are related to we'll just call it lottery. So there you go. Anyways, at the top of the hour, I will be going over to radiobig.fm for the next couple hours or so. So if you want to come and hang out with me, you're more than welcome on doing that. Let me talk about this. It is a 3-day weekend, so this means that Monday we will not be here. Just a little FYI for you. So we will not be here on Monday, so enjoy your weekend if you're not going to come over to radiobig.fm with me for the next couple hours or so as we talk about the world of music and entertainment. If you don't want to go around and hang out over there, you can hang out right here with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world as we are hanging out. Anyways, if I can put it to you this way, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and...
You want to know something? I totally forgot this. Let me give you some words of wisdom real quick. Some doors close because you were lingering in places that you already outgrew. And if you need some words of advice, save money when things are good. Life loves surprises, especially loves surprise expenses. Keep that in mind. Anyways, here you go.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and/or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.